Probably the most impactful thing that happened to my life was 9 years ago this December. I had a pulmonary embolism. I was asking myself, why did this happen to me? Because I was near death's door, and did I do something wrong? And I had a lot of questions. And it was not only just that period in the hospital that was hard, it was probably the recovery after the hospital that was one of the darkest, deepest, most challenging parts of my life. I experienced depression, anxiety. I did not want to leave the house. I sheltered myself away from everybody. And I was just not in a good place at all. I remember my mom expressing to me about how concerned she was about my mental health. She made a plea to me that maybe I can help myself if I start to help others. So I decided to volunteer at St. Clair's Hospital, the place that I actually was diagnosed and hospitalized for a few days. I definitely was the youngest person on the crew. I was with 5 other men who probably could have all been my grandfather. And one particular gentleman, his name was Dick Patton, he started talking to me and asking me questions, so he started hearing my life story. And he asked me if I went to church. And I responded with, oh, I always went to church religiously as a little child growing up. However, right now I'm taking a break from God. Dick invited me to church, and I refused. I flat out refused. I wasn't in a good place in my life at that time because I was experiencing depression and anxiety, but I also had a lot of self-guilt that was truly just eating me alive. And I felt ashamed, and I felt that I might not be worthy of God's love again, which was a really hard thing for me to stomach. So I kept on telling Dick no, and he kept on persisting. So he invited me to church one time, and they happened to have a meal attached to it. It was like a spaghetti dinner, come hear the speaker type thing. And even when I went to the church for the very first time, I found a college acquaintance that I used to have 3 classes with, and I was in a club with as well. And they invited me back. So I decided to go again. And I think that might have been one of the big turning points in my life, was just the persistence of someone asking those questions, even though someone's saying no every single time.